Welcome to 10 Minutes with Tony Scott. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Gentry Academy in Blaine. Gentry Academy is a private school in Blaine offering a great education and top-notch hockey training. This season, several of our weekly shows will be brought to you by Gentry Academy. Gentry Academy offers unparalleled training for student-based athletes as well as a progressive curriculum featuring leadership and life skills training. Gentry Academy, helping build tomorrow's leaders. Big Pumpkin. Shout out to the Big Pumpkin champions, Osseo Maple Grove and Edina Pee-wee at the Pee-wee AA and Edina at the Pee-wee Single A level. And a huge shout out to the Orange Bracket champions, St. Cloud, who went 3-1 last weekend in Moorhead. The MVPs of the tournament were Mark Lund from Edina at Pee-wee Single A and Brandon Reller from Osseo Maple Grove at the Pee-wee AA level. Interesting tidbit. Both of these players are 03 birth year kids, meaning they're the youngest age Pee-wees in the state, and they're already making their mark with the big boys at 02 and 01. Other players of note, Nate Warner from St. Cloud had an unbelievable weekend for the Huskies. Ben Dexheimer from Edina was outstanding for the Hornets despite losing in the championship game. Joe Miller had an awesome weekend for the Storm, Minneapolis Storm team. They did a great showing as well last weekend despite not winning the tournament as I predicted. And last two players, Brandon Benson from Blaine was the best goalie in the tournament by far. He was definitely a showstopper in a couple games for the Bengals. And finally, Billy Rose from White Bear Lake was a standout for the Bears. The entire all-tournament team will be released on YHH this week. As many of you know, we released the Hattie. YHH has now a hat that we give out to all the players that notched 3 goals in a game. 6 kids from Moorhead got themselves a Hattie last weekend. Congratulations to those guys. I'm hoping to hand out a whole bunch more of these this year. I'm pretty sure there's a few goalie dads out there are hoping just the opposite. All right, the reason most of you are here today is to see the Blue Ox pairings that are being announced today for the next couple weeks. Here's the trophy that Elk River won last year. They are the defending champions. They'll have their name emblazoned on the bottom of the trophy when we bring it up to Brainerd in a couple weeks. We're pumped up to make our second trip to Brainerd to host this great event. Thanks to the people at the Brainerd Amateur Hockey Association for helping us put on the tournament. We also can't wait to see the progress of the remodel of their rink that they've been doing all summer and this past fall. The Ox is a 16-team bracket tournament. The first round games are chosen with 3 factors in mind. A team's projected ranking, the district opponents, we don't want them to play against teams from their same district in the first or even the second round, and recency of opponents' play. We don't want teams playing against someone they've already played here in the first couple weeks of the season. So here we go. Here are the pairings. Game 1, defending champion Elk River will take on Brainerd at 10:30 a.m. in the Civic Center, live on YHH. Game 2, potential tournament favorite Minnetonka will take on Lakeville North. A couple players you want to keep an eye out for Minnetonka: Keandre Miller and Josh Lutke. And for Lakeville North, Garrett Daly and Spencer Schneider. That game will be at 10:45 on Gold Medal. Game 3, Jefferson, led by Nathan Johannes and Hunter Jacobs. They'll take on Moorhead, led by Ethan Frisch and Grant Connolly, at 12:15 in the Civic Center, live on YHH. Game 4, Osseo Maple Grove, led by Trevor Janicki and Tyler Borsch. They'll take on Sibley, led by Brendan McFadden and Tommy Wigness. These two teams played for 3rd place last year in the Pee-wee level. Several of the first-year players will be very familiar with each other. That game will be at 12:30 on the Gold Medal rink up in Brainerd. Game 5, another tournament favorite, Centennial, led by Hayden Brickner and Lucas McGregor, will take on Bemidji, who has Brian Pogue and Chase Harchie, 2 great players for the Lumberjacks. That game will be played at 2 o'clock, live from the Civic Center in Brainerd on YHH. Game 6, Prior Lake, Jack Kennedy and Bennett Holst are 2 stars for the Lakers. They'll take on Hermantown, who has Tyler Watkins and Elliot Peterson, 2 great players for the Hawks, at 2:15 in the Gold Medal Arena. Finally, Game 7, Eden Prairie, Ryan Lesko and Jake Olson, returners from the great Eden Prairie team last year, will lead the Eagles against St. Michael Albertville, who has Jordan Drabinski and Zach Shaleen leading the Knights. That game will be played at 3:45 in the Civic Center live on YHH. And the final game of the day, Wyzetta, the Trojans, led by Tyler Dingman, big tall defenseman, and Colin Schmidt, a big, huge power forward for the Trojans. They'll take on Eastview, who have a power forward of their own, Chris Fan, and a great goaltender in Ben Beatty. That game will be at 4 o'clock in the Gold Medal Arena up in Brainerd. It's going to be a great event next week. On Friday night, we host a banquet where we will announce the top 10 Bantam players in Minnesota, interview a coach and a player. Should be a fun Friday night and entire weekend up in Brainerd. Next topic, the YHH Squirtacular will be presented this year by the Gentry Academy. We will be releasing all 64 teams from the Squirtacular tomorrow on YHH. There'll be 32 A teams, 16 B teams, and 16 C teams. It's going to be a great event here in Bloomington in January on MLK weekend. Finally, some thumbs up for you guys. Moorhead Youth Hockey Association, thanks for hosting us last weekend. We had a wonderful time up there covering the great event, the Big Pumpkin. Shout out to Jeremy Gregoire, who had the vision of having the tournament up in Moorhead. Shout out to Rob Grammer and Corey DeLorme for making it happen. Really appreciate everyone from Moorhead, and they're welcoming us up there in the Big Pumpkin. Another shout out to the team from Pine City. They had 12 kids on their team, and it seemed like about 100 fans following them all around the rinks up in Moorhead. They had a great spirit, and they played some great hockey. They went 2-2, so a huge shout out to the people from Pine City. Kurt Rowling, my capable right-hand man up at the Pumpkin this past weekend. He got some great photos, entered a whole bunch of stats, and put up with me for 4 straight days. And my good friend Tom Kupich and his sons Tate and Jack, they were outstanding as well, helping us feed the Twitter feed all weekend long and keeping all the fans abreast of what's going on at the Pumpkin. So huge shout out to those 4 guys for helping us put on a great show up in Moorhead. Looking forward to seeing everybody around the rink this next couple weeks. We'll be broadcasting some games and covering lots of hockey over the next 3 months. Thank you for tuning in to YHH. Have a good day.